Good morning.
Whatever it is.
Hi again. It's because I was like, I'm like anything but morning right now. Okay, let me get my life together over here. I just got back to my seat. Hi, Julie.
Hi, Gogo. How are you?
Good. I'm so excited to officially meet you.
Well, we only met
I
during a
mean,
meeting.
like, in
Yeah,
yes,
right.
besides our
No,
initial phone call, like to see you in action, I should say.
nice to see you in person too.
So how
It's
long you
good.
were in business? I was trying to read, trying to find the resume.
17
17 years.
long time.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of changes.
You pulled some amazing numbers in those 17 years, let me tell you. I saw the
Yeah,
last 4 years
the
or something.
four, 4 or 5 were really the biggest. It's always been pretty steady, pretty busy, but it's just growing and it's good.
That's awesome. So we'll wait a couple minutes for people to, get on the call. Lindsay, can you please post the link in all of the chats if you haven't yet?
Yeah, I did it. You want me
Thanks.
to make me the co-host,
I did
please?
already.
Okay. Okay.
Did already. Okay, there it is. I was like, I couldn't find where you sent it to me. You sent it to me directly. Awesome. 21 million year to date, girl.
And that's the total I did last year. So it's actually this year has been so much better. Yeah.
You got as
I,
much done in half the time as you did in a whole year last year.
I won't say it's because I came to EXP, but it might be a coincidence, but maybe I will say it.
Well, you give the credit when it's due. If it's not due, don't give it. You know what I mean?
I do have a good team with me and I couldn't do any of it without them. So they're
That's
wonderful.
awesome. I can't
Yeah.
wait to hear all about you. So we'll wait a minute. I'm gonna close my door because we are not at the time yet.
Are we early?
Yeah, we are a couple minutes early. But I literally just walked in on the door. I haven't even turned my computer on. So I was like, let me just turn it on and make sure I'm showing up on time. We had a very fun board meeting for our Airbnb condo association. We are getting hit with a 15,000 roof replacement.
Oh,
bill.
well, bad timing.
Yeah. Well, our taxes went up like crazy. Our insurance went up like crazy. Our homeowners association monthly fee went up like crazy. So when we bought the condo, the monthly fee was $575 and now it's $1,300. The taxes were 2,000 something and now they're $12,000.
Oh,
And
wow.
the insurance was something and now it's pretty much double. So
You'll have to rent
everything.
a few more weeks.
I mean, it's rented all the time. We bought it for us to use it and then use it as an Airbnb. But thank God it's pretty much always rented. So very few times we can actually use it for our own. So at least it pays for itself,
Yeah,
But my
yeah.
gosh, these, you know,
But it's
but
worth more. I'm sure it's worth more now, right?
well, we bought it for 670 and our neighbor, because he doesn't want to pay the 15,000 for the roof, just listed for 650.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, no, I guess it wasn't a moneymaker. But it pays for itself. It's in a very nice location, you know what I mean? And so it's all good, but
Seen you post about it. It looks pretty. Looks like it's right near the beach and looks like a
yeah,
nice little place.
yeah,
So cute.
yeah, right across the beach. So we can get started. What time is it? Yeah, 1 o'clock, a minute after. So Lindsay, just keep an eye on the people coming in, let them in. So thank you so much, Julie. Every Wednesday we do a production and mindset related training because I believe 95% of our success is the 6 inches between our ears. And then we like to interview our own and bring experts and all of that. So I wanted, as soon as I saw that you were number one or number two in the country, I was like, okay, we need to interview you and understand who you are and how you got to where you are and, teach the next generation upper coming agents to be able to do the same. Right. So congratulations. Well, besides the fact that you've been in the industry for 17 years, I think you are not rattled by the NOR lawsuit. You'll figure it out, right?
Oh, no, I have to say that's been a breath of fresh air because since March, EXP has been giving us so much tools and things to use and education. And so we feel very prepared, and we've been putting it in practice even prior to now. So, I think the way they handled that was really nice, as other brokerages I've heard haven't done the same. So no, with the experience, and then, it will be fine.
Yeah, I feel the same. And then, so you done 13 million in 2020, 30 million in 2022, then 21 million in 2023, but year to date, you already did 21 million.
Right. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's amazing.
That's amazing. So, would you like to teach us what you know today so we can help each other and everyone who needs to learn from what you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. So I actually, it was number 8 in the company for the month of June, which was a surprise. I'm not sure how I did that, but I saw it and I thought, oh, wow, that's amazing.
In the
So
whole company?
in the whole company. Yeah.
That's amazing. So 87,000 agents and you're number 8 in the whole company.
In the US. Yeah.
The US. That's amazing.
That was exciting, even just for a moment, just sort of makes you feel like you're in the right place.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've never achieved that, so congratulations. I mean, that is a big deal. I never had even, I've done 21 million, but not in 6 months, in a year, right? So you're pulling some amazing numbers, and being number 2 in the state, never achieved that, right? So
Actually, I'm number one in the state now.
Oh, you are? Okay, I thought it was number 2, but number 1.
Elise Sullivan, she's also Team Gogo. She's number 2, and her and I work a lot together. So it's always a sort of little competition, like she's 1, I'm 2, and then I beat her. So I thought, nope, I'm 1.
That's awesome. So I'm so excited and so thankful for you to sharing your time with us and your knowledge with us, because I know you're super busy at this level. So our ears are wide open to learn from you.
Sure. So do you just share screen here? Is that what I should do?
Yeah,
Okay.
you should be able to
So
share.
I've done coming to EXP. One of the things that interested me was sort of getting into other income streams, some digital products, things like that. So I have made a course about how to brand yourself. I know a lot of people have covered this topic. I've seen it, many times on your trainings. But I think it's just a personal thing, and how you do it personally that makes the difference. So I'll go ahead and start that. Let's see. Just bear with me for a second. Can you see my screen yet or no?
Yes, but we are seeing your Zoom. Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, there we are. So this is the course that I've made. This is just a little snippet of the course. The course is, it's like 12 modules long, and I am selling it, but it's my first go at this, but I'm excited because it's, one of the reasons why I did come to the company and came in under Powerhouse and Gogo. So like you said, 17 years in real estate, 21 million in sales year to date. Mentor and a coach. I have a broker's license, which that was something I did 2 years ago, and just did it for me. Not that I needed it, but did it for me. When we came over to EXP in December, we opened up a brick and mortar office as well. And that was more for a place to meet. Where we are in New England, it's provincial, and I think people sort of need that brick and mortar office feel. So it's worked out well. I have one son. He's also an entrepreneur. Gogo, I think I told you about him. I saw what your son was doing, so which I think is amazing.
Cleaning trash cans. I'm super surprised because he built his idea. Like, he came down one night and was like, that's what I'm going to be doing as my idea. I'm never going to have a boss ever again. And I was just like, whoa. And I'm like, cleaning trash cans. Like, this is my video gamer kid. This is the kid who doesn't want to leave the room. So the fact that he chose,
smart. Yeah, so smart.
to clean trash cans, I'm like, I'm so proud of him. So what does your son do?
He has a dumpster rental business, and he does home cleanouts. So he started that at 17, doing the cleanouts. He knew he didn't want to go to college. I wanted him to get into real estate. He just didn't have the drive for it, so didn't do that, wanted his own thing, and then grew that business into, he has 32 dumpsters that he rents, he has trucks and people that work for him, and he's 22 years old, so he's done extremely well. He's a go-getter. He really
Love it.
is.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So I believe in empowering women. I've always felt that way. And I think when I found EXP and Powerhouse and you, Gogo, it just sort of resonated with me. And I kept saying, this is interesting. And, I believe all things happen for a reason, and the timing was right. And it just came together, and it was aligned values. And so that's kind of what brought me here. So my goal now at this stage is to help other agents build their business. And that's kind of what we're doing now. Is there a way that I can see you guys and do this at the same time, or no? All I
So
can
on
see.
the top right, you can change the view to multiple people on the right-hand side, which would be side-by-side gallery, I think it's called, or multiple speakers. Let me see. Yeah, side-by-side gallery.
Yeah, I don't see it.
No, go back to Zoom. You are on Canva right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so go back to Zoom, and then on the top right of your Zoom screen. So this is a screen in the screen. So hold yeah, that one.
View. Yep.
Yeah, and then click view. Yeah, that one. And you should be able, you have a pop-up now, then I can see. Yeah. Oh, let's try that again. Do the gallery view. Okay, and now share your screen.
It says I'm still sharing.
Oh.
So let's see if I go back over here, if that works.
Do you see us or no?
That's okay. It's all right. I'll come back after I stop sharing, I guess.
Okay.
It's just weird because it looks like I'm just talking to myself. So
I know, I hate it too. I love seeing the people because otherwise it is like a monologue.
yeah, and honestly, is everybody who's here, are they able to just jump in and ask a question anytime too? Because
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
that.
so they can do it. Yeah, they can do it multiple ways. They can unmute themselves and ask you right there. You can do Q&A at the end, or they can put it right into the chat box as well.
Okay. Yeah. So if anybody wants to jump in at any time, that would be great, because it's just like us hanging out and not me just talking at you, which is probably boring.
Yeah.
So when you think about a memorable brand in a company like Nike, Apple, those are big companies, but we always remember them. So when you are your own business, and we are in real estate, it's really important to sort of brand yourself and decide what you want people to remember about you. So me, like, Nike has Just Do It. McDonald's is I'm loving it. And if you think back, you think about, when you're younger, kind of the things that still stick in your mind. They might not even be products anymore, like Oscar Mayer or something, or about Subway's $5 footlong, all these things that come to mind. Either maybe it was a song or some logo they had. Does anybody remember anything like that
Can you hear me now?
they knew?
You know what that one is?
Yeah, could you hear me?
Yeah, Verizon. No, I'm just kidding. That's a Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
That was the first one that popped into my head. Can you hear me now? Oh, which one is the one when you fall? You fall and I fell and I can't get up.
Yep. Was a life alert, I think.
Yes. Yep.
We'll
and then
keep the
there
light
was
on for you.
Which one?
We'll keep the light on for you.
Oh yeah.
That was a hotel.
Yes, I remember that. Or Watch It Wiggle, See It Jiggle. Like that was is that Cool Whip or Jello? That was Jello.
Robert, that was Tom Bodett with Motel 6.
Yes. We're showing our age.
So honestly, like, we remember all these things, it's because it was branded, so maybe we're not going to have a song or a jingle for ourselves, but we are going to build a brand, and we are going to be remembered. That's the goal anyway. So just kind of fun to think about. So why does this matter? It matters because your brand builds trust and credibility to you, even the big ones, certain brands you know and trust, and you just go with them. as realtors, it sets you apart from the competitors. That's a big thing, especially now with what's going on in our business. You know, we have a lot of competition, a lot of changes, a lot of fear in the industry, I think. So, you know, you want to be somebody who's trusted and relied upon for either a smooth transaction with another agent or, you know, just to be guiding your clients. And it's really important. It gets you your ideal clients and opportunities. So your branding will attract the people that you're trying to attract. People want to work with people they like, know, and trust. We know that. We've heard that a million times. And people will remember you before they remember any product you're selling or, you know, any job you're doing. The last thing on this list is it makes other agents want to work with you. That's kind of a big deal right now too, especially. So I hadn't really thought about this before, but now where your commission is going to be put in the offer and negotiated, which is still so strange to me, but you know, the list agent is going to be talking to the seller about you and may know your history. Are you a difficult agent? Are you a smart agent? Are you known for smooth transactions? Are you going the extra mile? They can influence how much you're going to be paid on that transaction as well. So I think that's something else to think about when you're working every day and people are starting to know who you are. You know, you want to be.
That's a good point. I would take all the top producers out for coffee in my neck of the woods. If I was in production today, every single one of them I would have coffee with for the next month. Because A, I want to have that personal relationship with them. B, I want to learn from them. But C, most importantly, I want them to know my name. So then when my offer comes across their desk, right, they're going to be like, oh, that's a Gogo check, right? And I want my commission.
Yeah. Yep. You know, so I mean that I hadn't really thought of before, but now I feel like that's even more important than just about what your clients think of you. It's other agents and you know what they're
agent attraction. If you want to do agent attraction, that is, I think it's very important.
Yeah, that's huge. You know, that was another interest that I had about the company, and you know now have 7 agents in my downline already. So it's been amazing. So how do you guys feel about branding yourselves? Is it scary? Do you feel comfortable does anybody have like a sort of confidence about the brand that they already have going?
I do.
Will you?
But I do, but I wanted to ask you, why do you think people are afraid of being their true self out to the public? Because I think really, what I think is that our difference is what makes us unique, right? And being different than everybody. But when you are like everybody else, you're average, right? So you do have to stand out like a sore thumb for people to start paying attention. But I feel like most people don't want, it's uncomfortable to stick out. It's way more comfortable to blend in.
It is, yeah. And I think my opinion is I think people are just afraid to be ridiculed. They're afraid to be, embarrassed. It's just not comfortable. Whereas if you blend in, you don't have to worry about that. You're just part of the rest of the group and, you don't stand out. I think social media too is really hard. I notice so much on the younger generations. They don't have that fear. It's very natural to them. It's second nature. They don't mind being on video. Whereas our generation, who are maybe a little older, I feel like that is a learning curve for most of us because, it's super important and we need it, but it's not something that even myself, I'm not very comfortable on video and I'm trying to get better at that. But so you keep working on yourself.
That's where I think I'm at this point is the apprehension of going on video and putting yourself out there. I've come up with a with what I think is a good brand that's making a difference to real estate. And so I've gone in AI through ChatGPT, and I've done a little bit of work there, and it's given me some good ideas on how to present myself, giving me scripts for videos where you can go in and shoot the video, put the script in on it, put the script in and help promote yourself in that way.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the things you've done to brand yourself? If you said you've sort of already developed a brand.
Well, I've gone in and I've developed what the statement is. Well, what I'm doing now, one of the things I see missing in our area are people who are familiar with the Grand Blanc area, familiar with Mid-Michigan, and going and teaching through like YouTube videos, teaching them about Grand Blanc, teaching them about Flint, teaching them where they can go if they need, some type of help. What are the area hospitals? What are the, where are the area supermarkets? Things like that. And so
you're
I've been
sort of a resource guy.
yeah, so I'm going in and I've discovered Google Earth Studio, and I'm falling in love with it because you can do so much with it, and it's easy to go in and take those clips from there, dump it into Canva, and just go and build your video through that. And that's kind of where I'm at right now with this, is getting that first video built to say, this is who I am. I'm a realtor in mid-Michigan, southeastern Michigan. I'm your go-to person for, for this area. And that, Grand Blanc is a great place to have a house. It's a great place to, to raise a family. And then just say, if you're interested in, buying a home in this area, contact me, that type of thing.
That's great. So you've already sort of established your plan of attack, and
Yes.
you're adjusting too, it sounds like, which are all the ways that you need to kind of adapt. And I'll talk about it later, but you have to pivot, and you need to sort of reinvent yourself sometimes, depending
Yes.
on the changes or what's working, what's not working. So that's great. Does anybody else have sort of like a brand going? I know Gogo does. Gogo's all brand. Melissa, you were on one of the talks. I think I saw you once before.
I'm always around. Supposed to be out of my office more though. We're working on that. But today's an office day. Yeah, my brand is, I actually just rebranded. My background is in corporate marketing, and I have a degree in marketing in college. So I understand branding pretty well, and I've run brands for multiple companies before. But in real estate, sometimes I think that we come in and we expect to do things the way that have always been done. And so this is how I found Gogo. Is last year I was sitting and I was watching YouTube, and it was like New Year's Eve, and I was getting the baby to sleep, and I was watching Levi Lassick, and I was going through my phone, and I was on Instagram, and Gogo said something, and for some reason that particular post just caught me. And I had already the things going on in the background with what I was watching on YouTube, and I realized I had spent 7 years running my business completely wrong, and that we have been pushing just listed, just sold, and none of it spoke to a client. They don't care what your production is. Your broker cares what your production is, right? So how are you going to speak to your clients? And that's where you start thinking about what the brand is, because you need to know who you're talking to and what their message is. It needs to be authentic. It needs to be you. And then you need to find how you're going to just keep consistent relaying that. And then I decided, if I'm going to change my brand, I'm also going to change how I'm delivering that brand. And I started implementing video as well. And I was a wallflower. So I'm super shy. I'm introverted by nature, but I've pushed myself. And I ended up in December of this year, so my 1 year anniversary of deciding I'm going to change the way I'm doing things, I joined American Dream TV. And I pushed myself into going on TV and making video. So more than just YouTube, where I hope to have a few hundred followers, I said, let's just go all in and sit in front of an audience of 40 million a segment. And then if I get on travel or on HGTV, then it's 72 million. But you have to just at some point say, I'm not looking for, like Gogo says, I'm not looking for everybody. I'm looking for the people that are looking for me. And I don't have to be everything to everyone. And you might like what Joanna Gaines delivers, or you might like what somebody else is delivering, but I'm not that person. My message is specific. And so I try and incorporate now in my show a few different elements. I give them a little bit of education on the area. I give them a little bit of something fun to do. We keep it 80% lifestyle and content in that direction, but then 20% real estate and no more than that, because otherwise we overwhelm them with information and that sort of thing. So it's more infotainment. And so I just got my last segment back, and we're going to be premiering it with the city of Bowling Green. They're literally rolling out the red carpet. It's going to be a public free event, and we're renting a Capitol Theater, and they're providing me everything. We're going to have media there and a whole branding strategy around that. But I find that if I'm doing the things that speak to the public, then they're naturally going to gravitate towards that.
And so you also probably feel a lot more comfortable now because you've done it so much. So
you
it's
get
not.
you get used to it. Yeah. I at first I was very scripted. I was like, I need to know exactly what I'm going to say. I don't know what I'm going to say. And what if I screw up? And how do I hold my hands? And I told the videographer, like, tell me if I'm being weird on camera. You know, I don't want to be awkward.
I do think that this group has sort of helped me to get to that point. So, you know, I was terrified to do any speaking or, you know, really tax me. Even today, a little bit nervous or camera shy, but not so much anymore. It's getting better and better. And it's the group of people that we have in our upline who, you know, we're sharing, we're talking, and we're exchanging, and, you know, it just becomes normal. And, you know, it's who you're with. So like you said, I did not run my business appropriately. I was with a brokerage who didn't have a cap, which is, you know, to look back now, I think, what was I doing? And it was just the same thing over and over. Very small company, only in Massachusetts. It wasn't, you know, national. So a lot of years I feel I have to make up for. And when I met with Amy Gregory, she said, in 5 years, you'll be where you want to be. And I thought, that's amazing. And so I had goals already, though, in 8 months. A lot of those goals are already happening. So I thought, wow, this is faster than I thought, not 5 years, moving right along. So it's great. And I think, you know, branding yourself is a huge part of that.
I
So,
hear
yeah.
that there is a need. What I heard from here, that there's a need for you guys to get comfortable on camera. So here's the thing: when something comes so natural, right? Camera, for whatever reason, shooting videos just comes super easy. I don't think twice about it. I just grab the phone out of my pocket and I do it, right? So would you guys like me to do a training like this where I actually share my screen and we push the buttons one by one and we shoot videos and I show you how to do a reel and how to do a hands-free video and all of that? Would you
Yep.
guys like that?
Yes.
Okay. Because you see, for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just push in and do that and do a swipe up and I tag location and I do the link and I'm done, right? But I don't realize that that is not as simple to you guys. So I would love if you, anytime you think of something that you would like to learn about it, if I know how to, then let's add it to the calendar. I don't want to do trainings on things that you don't guys want to learn about. I want to do trainings on things that you have an interest in, right? So, okay, we'll add video training to our upcoming Wednesday calendar. But anything else that you can think of, please message the girls or put it into the Team Gogo chat of like, hey guys, I would like training on this. So then we can fill in the calendar with subjects and trainings that we all want.
That's great. Yeah, love that. So I think we can move on with this one. Let's see. And again, I can't see you guys anymore, so let's hope we're on the same page. So how do you define your brand? The DISC assessment test is really helpful. I've actually, with guidance from Gogo, employed a company to start hiring VAs for me. And I'm still in process of that, but I thought it was interesting when I came over to EXP, I'd never done a DISC assessment before. I did that. We all did. Everybody who came over at once, we all did it just to see where we landed. And it's super helpful. And so what I found interesting too was the company that I'm working with, they also provided the DISC assessment for the VAs who I'd be interviewing. And I thought that was really helpful too, because that gives you a lot of information. So when you're defining yourself and your brand, you have to know your strengths and what interests you. And those tests, that test is really great to do that. So if you haven't done one, maybe you all have, but if you haven't, you should definitely do one of those. I have an exercise of how others see you. So, if you want to do that, you can always ask 5 people the 5 words that they think of when they think of you. They should be, somebody who knows you well, a friend, family, somebody you trust. What kind of words come to mind when they think of you. And then that'll sort of give you another insight about how others see you. I think I would be seen as probably spazzy sometimes, but no, I'm kidding. Responsive, resourceful, sort of those are my kind of natural abilities, kind of dependable, resourceful, all those things. But somebody else might think you are bold or brave or whatever. But it'd be interesting to see what other people are kind of reading about you. And then knowing your target audience will help you define the brand that you're going after. So what are the problems that they have, their pain, so that you can, sort of be the solution for that, the demographics or, the price points you want to be in, that kind of thing. So that's always a good way to start. This one is big for me, the ways to brand yourself. Professional image is huge. So we live in Cape Cod area, South Shore of Massachusetts. And it's very laid back. We're not a dressed up kind of place. However, I do see some agents who take this to the extreme and show up in their yoga clothes, or, they've just come from the gym, or, I feel like you need to make an effort. I don't care how well you know the client. It just sends a huge message. So, you want to be presentable with good hygiene, and, your car needs to be clean. Even people do judge you on appearance and your image. And so, the first thought that you want them to have is positive. Your personal story is important because it's yours and it makes you different from anybody else. And so, again, if you're not comfortable sharing that, I think you work on that and get comfortable sharing more of yourself. Find your specialized market. Are you going to be all $1 million homes? Are you, the commercial realtor? Are you, new construction or manufactured homes? Whatever you are, use your specialized service. So that can be your brand too. What is your approach? Data oriented? Are you organized? So, what is your approach to things? You can also host events. So I saw somebody said, have a Botox party, wherever you can meet people, sort of gets you, maybe it's involved in your church, or, involved in Habitat for Humanity, building houses. But again, it's a way to brand yourself as somebody part of the community. So it's another layer. I think layering it's important. One of the other things I thought of too was collaborating with people that you admire. So if there's another agent in your area that you admire or aspire to be like, collaborate with that person, or at least talk to them and see, what they're doing. And you can emulate them because obviously there's a reason why you admire them. Your day-to-day content on social media, that's a big thing. I think I'm guilty of doing the just listed, just sold. And again, nobody cares. Nobody cares. And I didn't really realize that until coming over to EXP. But it's so true, because now I look at things a little differently. So my goal here is to get better branding myself on the day-to-day things, like my garden, or, any parties that I might host or things like that, just to sort of share a little bit more insight of who I am. And then, of course, the educational content, and not just, throwing up a slide from, Keeping Current Matters or something else, that you picked up somewhere. It's actually you maybe sharing about what you read. And so making it more personal is important. These are just some quotes that I pulled because these resonate with me. fear has two meanings: forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. The choice is yours. So I feel like that's huge, because it's really easy to just run if you're fearful. And branding yourself and like Gogo said, putting yourself out there, being different, going against the grain, it's scary. It can be really scary. Of course, we all love Kobe. Everything negative, pressure, challenges is all an opportunity for me to rise. And there are no secrets to success. It's the result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure, which was said by Colin Powell. That's true. It's so true. You got to do the work. You got to put the time in. There's just no easy way around it. And you're not going to get out of it. So we all have to do it. Let's see. I have some other things I could tell you about. I think life integration in your brand, it has to match your life and your brand. I think they kind of thread together, at least mine does. So I would say in the 17 years of doing real estate, I have worked probably some part of every single day in some way or another, whether it was just thinking about it or actually being in it, doing it. So that's where balancing work and life come in. And I think as women, especially, we wear a lot of hats. So I think that's really important to do. As I've gotten older, I'm getting better at that. But especially in this business, they'll take as much as you give. So you do have to sort of set your boundaries, and sort of your brand, and balancing all of that together is important. And then you'll adjust as needed. And we talked about this before, but pivoting. So if it doesn't work, or what you're, it's not attracting the people that you want, or the clients, or the opportunities that you want, then you pivot. And again, my pivot right now is more content of videos or things like that. And I feel like I need to just, make that change and adjust. And so managing time, I don't really have a problem doing that. But, I think to be successful, you need to manage your time wisely.
Hey, Julie, Liz is asking if you could repeat or give a little more info on the signature approach.
Oh, say again, the signature approach?
Yeah.
Oh, for a way to brand yourself? Yeah,
Liz?
I think that's what she meant.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah, she's shaking her head. Yes.
Okay. So signature approach, are you data oriented? Are you organized? What's your approach to the way you're going to brand yourself? Does that make sense? Are you luxury branded? What's your kind of your niche? What are you looking for?
So your value proposition, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I can't
Liz,
see. I can't see you, so I'm sorry. I can go back.
Liz, do you want to unmute yourself and then maybe just play along with Julie to kind of figure out what is your approach? She can help you guide you through it.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks, Julie. Can you hear
Hi,
me?
Liz.
I just want to give you a special shout out because I'm from Massachusetts originally. I live in Utah right now, but I'm from Sudbury, Massachusetts, born and raised. So
Oh, that's wonderful. I have to tell you, so EXP was not a big thing here. When we started looking at this company, just in the last 8 months, they've seemed to be growing and growing. And it sort of has come from the West Coast, down to Texas and now back up. So I feel like we might be the last part of the US coming to EXP, but it's really growing here. So it's fun to see.
well, it's awesome, and it's great to meet you and hear from you, and
We have
know
some
that
other
I
Mass-
now have an awesome referral.
Yes, we do. And there's some other Mass people here too that are in my downline, so I can see them. But you have a great group of people if you need to refer to.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I guess I was just wondering how signature approach differs from like a niche market. You know what I mean? I didn't know if it was like referred more to like the way, like my style of doing business. Is
Yes,
that a
yes,
good way to kind of
exactly. Yeah,
think about it? Okay.
right.
Okay.
Again, I think it's the way you're handling things, like the way you're whole persona helps your client, I think would be the way to
Mhm.
say that. You know, where am I a mess? Am I, you know, am I making them nervous? Am I making their stress worse? You know, what's your approach? Or me, I come in and I say to them, I want this to be as least stressful for you as possible. I will absorb the stress. And when there's a point where you need to worry, I will let you know. Otherwise, I'll walk you through it step by step. But again, I try not to inflate their stress and absorb it. So
Great.
yeah,
Okay.
that's
That makes
probably a
sense.
better explanation, maybe.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much for clarifying.
Oh, of course. No, it was really good to see you.
Thank you. Great to meet you.
So I have a couple of let's see. I think I had backed up here, but a couple of case studies. The first one, you know, these people are very successful in branding. First one's Gogo, and you know her story, and she's now social media queen, entrepreneur, TV podcast host, and the branding expert. So I am so fortunate to be in her downline, and you know, with all the opportunities and education and training and all this that she offers, it's like she's sort of seen beyond what we need before we know we need it. So it's really amazing. Ryan Serhant, you know, from TV, but he was a hand model and he passed out flyers for a gym. And now he's one of the most successful brokers in the world. So that's
Can I
amazing.
tell you something about Ryan that I learned one time I was speaking with him on stage?
Yeah.
I'm gonna die. I was like, there's no freaking way. So this is back in the age before Ryan Serhant was Ryan Serhant, right? And HGTV, this is the era when HGTV started coming out with TV shows and they were doing applications and people would apply and then they would decide if they're going to pick them or not or whatever, right? So Ryan applied. By the way, this was what was the TV show called? Top Selling New York or something like that. These were like the top agents in New York, right? He applies. Ask me how many houses he have sold when he applied as a top producing New York realtor for HGTV.
How many?
Zero. Zero houses. He lied his way through the whole application. He got selected. He lied his way through the whole interview process. He got selected. Then they came out with an interview crew, right? With the whole crew and the, you know, the videographers and the mic man and the light guy and all of that to tour and follow him around all day, to follow him at his work. He had no listings. And then he asked one of his best friends who knew somebody, one of the listing agents, big shot listing agents in New York, to give him access to his listing so they can tour there. But last minute, the guy didn't give the code, or I don't remember what the story was. So he took these guys to kill time. He took the camera crew to a restaurant, went to the bathroom, and left on the back door and left the camera crew in the restaurant. And then he didn't answer his phone for the rest of the day. As they were like, what happened to you? Where did you go? Blah, blah, blah. So he just left them high and dry. He's like, I don't know what to do. I have nowhere to take them and I don't want them to find out. So he just left them high and dry, didn't answer his phone all day. And then the next day he called him and he's like, sorry guys, I got called into, had to put a fire out at work, blah, blah, blah. He got selected and got into the TV show. Never sold the house.
Wow.
Talk
Wow.
about having some balls.
And acting. I mean, he's an actor.
And that's what he said. He says he's an actor. I say
Wow.
all the time, I'm like, I'm an actress. That's what I do, because I mean, one of my posts a couple of days ago, I told them, I'm like, I lied a couple of times for which presidential party I voted for just so I get the listing.
Oh, well, yeah.
I was like, sure, I voted for it. Idiot. Absolutely. Just kidding. No, I did not. But I did, if you're asking me, right? If that could get me the listing, then yes, I voted for them. But you know what? I feel like you have to learn to become this persona, right, in order to get those listings. But the cool part is when you narrow it down, and this is, I actually wrote it down, target audience, ideal client workshop. I want to do an ideal client workshop with you guys where we literally sit here in the hour and we go line by line by line. And by the end of the hour, you know exactly who your ideal client is. Because I hate to put it this way, that's your lowest hanging fruit. But it is your lowest hanging fruit because the people who are just like you are the easiest to convince to work with you. We just have to figure out who those people are. We don't slow down enough to figure out, what do I like? I like yoga. I'm a mom of 2 kids. I have a bulldog. I'm an immigrant. I'm 42 years old. I live in a neighborhood. I love Starbucks, right? So when you figure out what you love, you're like, oh shit. My client probably lives right here. They're probably 42 years old. They probably have children. They probably have a dog. They probably love Starbucks, and I can probably meet her at yoga. Right? So let's do a target audience and ideal client workshop, because I think as soon as you narrow it down of who is your ideal client, you can close them every time. And plus, you know where to find them. Like I learned one of this one from Mike Sims. I'll never forget. That guy can sell ice to Eskimos. He's in Traverse City. If you guys don't know him, he comes to our trainings. So his ideal client is a country club guy. They love golfing. So he literally gets a country club membership and writes it off because that's his office. And then he sits at the bar and talks to the guy to the left. Do you have any properties to sell? Yes, you do. Okay, cool. Tell me about it. Tells him about it. Turns over to the right. Tells the guy about the property from the guy on the left, and pretty much closes them at the bar. And does it rinse and repeat and rinse and repeat and rinse and repeat. And I'm like, he's a genius. So if you figure out what you love to do and where those people are that you love doing it with, that's your low-hanging fruit. So let's figure out who those people are next time.
We have a lot of work ahead of us. We're doing videos, we're doing target audience. I love it. It's great. So who else do we have? We have Barbara Corcoran. She is, you know, everybody knows who she is, but she had 20 jobs that she was working by the time she was 23. And she was a waitress when she got into real estate, and then sold her company for $66 million. She was definitely in the time when it was mostly men in the business, and she's just a smart, strong, tough cookie. She actually on Shark Tank, the TV show, one idea that she invested in was an oversized wearable blanket, and she's made $428 million off of that. So she's a huge successful person who's branded herself over and over and pivoted and reinvented, and you know, she's become a multimillionaire. So amazing. Tom Furry, he was bagging groceries, and he lived in the ghetto. He had no money, and he's built a $20 million real estate coaching business, which is just incredible. And everybody knows him. And of course, Glenn Sanford, he had an internet startup company, but he started our brand, you know, and it's just grown and grown. And it is the first national cloud-based brokerage in the industry. So, you know, all those are amazing success stories and people we can aspire to. Even if you just took one piece of some of these stories, it's incredible. And that's it. And my quote, what I always say is, what you focus on expands. So in good and bad ways, if you're focusing on negative all the time, I can't do it, you know, I have no business, that's exactly what you're going to get. And if you focus on what's new, what can I learn, how can I help, you know, you give to get, and it's just a practice of life. And that's how, you know, your brand becomes who you are and who people trust and want to know and, you know, be with and work with. So that's it.
So since we have some time, I want to ask you some questions. What would you say are your most effective, if you can stop sharing, we actually shared your screen. Yeah, if you can stop sharing, then we get to see everyone. There we go. What do you, yes, thank you. What do you think are your 3 most effective habits, like that form you of who you are today?
It's repeat. So consistency every single day. I am so responsive to people, and I think they enjoy that. It's something that I appreciate. And
let's start with the first one. So you said repeating the same thing even after it's boring. So what is that called? It starts with a C. Gosh, what do we call it when we're doing the same?
Consistency.
Consistency. Thank you. So thanks for translating, Carol. So consistency is your first habit. So tell us, like, give us some examples on consistency.
So, okay, so when I was at a brick and mortar company, I would drop my son off at school and I would go to the office every day. Every day. So I would just be routine. I would be there. I would be in the listening to people talk about deals. And then, as a new agent, I would be, working the desk and any walk-ins. But I was there all the time. So I was putting in the time every single day as much as I could and absorbing everything I could consistently over and over.
So in your business, out of the 21 million year to date, are they mostly listings or buy side?
Mostly listings. Yeah.
What do you do consistently to get listings?
So, well, Elise is
I know
here.
it's a loaded question, but I saw Melissa take her pen and ready to take notes.
So we're very fortunate that we've had a 16-year relationship with one of the largest landholders in the state. And they have a development that we are the exclusive listing agents on since 2019. So everybody who lives in that neighborhood has to list with us for 90 days. It's a requirement. And so that for the last few, since 19 has been such a blessing because then the market was huge. But it was that 16-year relationship with that client of taking any little rentals that they had. And then eventually they had an apartment building with 65 units that we took that. So anything they gave us, we took. And then when the need arose for this, we were there and they knew, they trusted us. And, we delivered. So again,
I've never even heard such a thing that you can be a listing agent for a neighborhood unless it's new construction, but then the builder has their own in-house listing. And Randy Serlini's here for that. That's how I met him. But if you did not have that relationship and you know what you know today, what would you do consistently to get listings?
So I have a few new agents too, and I tell them, give to get. That's my motto. So you need to give. You need to get on your local Facebook pages. And when someone's looking for, I need a plumber, I need a roof guy, you have to be the person who's always just giving somebody good and, the source that they're going to go to and oh, she's always answering. And then they see who you are. And then they might look at your profile. And then, where we are is also a lot of repeat business. It's a lot of word of mouth. So everybody here sort of wants to tell somebody that they know how great you were. And so I didn't do a lot of paid advertising ever in my career, but I was always sort of giving. I did Habitat for Humanity. I've done events. I've done coat drives for kids in the winter. I do food drives every November and Thanksgiving. You have to give to get. It's the law of the world. And so I think once people understand that, you can't be grabby. You can't, expect to just be a taker because it's just never going to work for you.
And then habit number 2.
Trying to think what else. Responsive, I think, was the second one I said.
Okay. So tell me what does that look like in action?
So that looks like if somebody reaches out to me, pick up the phone, answer the phone. Yeah, that's huge. People say, how do I get business? Will you answer your phone? If you call 10 agents, 9 will answer. 9 won't answer.
So my Romanian friend from Michigan originally thought that they're moving to South Carolina. She asked me if I have rockstar agents in South Carolina. I said, of course I do, right? I personally called 5 in Team Gogo. I went to the map, called the first agent, no answer. My solution, or what I do, always call back 2 or 3 times, right, back to back to back, because first time it's a number that you don't know, you might not answer. Second time you're like, this number called me again. The third time you're definitely this must be important, right? I called the first agent 3 times, back to back to back to back, no answer. Called the second agent 3 times, back to back to back to back, no answer. Third agent, fourth agent, 3 times, back to back, all of them, no answer. The fifth one finally answered and was a $1.4 million referral.
I'm going to save your number in my phone, just so.
But I'm not saying it's because I'm calling. Anybody's calling, you should answer.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
And if it's a whatever it's called, a spam, then you're like, thing's not interested, hang up. But that was literally a $40,000 commission.
Mm-hmm.
A $40,000 commission, and you're not going to pick up your phone.
It's so true. It's so true.
Blows
And
my
being
Blows my
responsive,
You're like,
because
well,
if,
I didn't know the number. I'm like, then why are you in real estate? Like, then
But-
don't be in a people business if you're not willing to talk. Take a call and be like, who is it? Like, I take random phone calls, numbers. I don't, hello? Oh, sounds like a robot. Because you can hear it right away. The beep. You're like, okay, it's a robot. Hang up. Right? But just answer. You don't know. It could be a $15,000 phone call. It could be a $40,000 phone call. It could be a spam, but you don't know unless you answer. And now another agent took your commission. I think that is so important. Answer every call. If you are in this business, if you
but
are
it's so simple too. I mean, we're not reinventing the wheel here. It's very simple. Just pick up the phone or they're going somewhere else. So just like you want to have somebody answer a question you have about anything you are working on, they do too. You know, you don't want to wait. So again, if I don't get the call,
era of like instant gratification, right?
Mhm.
Like our kids were raised with 3-second videos, right? Like they want their answers like now.
Mhm. Yeah.
They're not like us. Then we used to go to the www.juliejohnson.com. Contact us button, go to the bottom of the page, send us an email, send a 3-pager, wait 2 days for Julie. Like we don't have that. Today's generation does not have patience for that. Today's generation DMs you, they want a response right away.
Mhm.
So I think that's huge. So number 2, respond.
Yeah, I do think that's huge.
Number 3,
Resourceful, have resources, know what you're talking about, you know, be able to recommend people if you don't have them because you're new. Talk to people who are experienced. You know, people in my downline, I give them a guide that they can use for my referrals for people, whatever it might be, an attorney or a lender or whoever it is. Because if you're new, you don't have that, you don't know it. But I think it's important to be that person. You're their go-to. You're their they're looking to you to guide them, and they're paying you well to do it.
I'm writing down the other, I'm getting all kinds of ideas from you, Julie.
Oh, good.
So I think I should do another training. My real estate coach, well, coach, not real estate coach, but a coach of mine back in the day told me, I learned this one from her, never eat alone. And I was like, what does she mean by that? Right. And she said, are you going to eat lunch today? I said, yeah. How about tomorrow? Yeah. How about the day after? Yeah, I eat lunch every day. She goes, okay, then every day you should eat lunch with someone. Right. So I used to take out title companies, inspectors, appraisers, moving companies, house cleaning companies, like you name it, everybody that had anything to do with the real estate transaction. Okay. So when she said never eat alone, I could not afford lunch to take people out for lunches. So I took them out for coffee.
Mhm.
So every morning I had a meeting with all of these local experts, but then by the end of your 6 months, every time you do this, you have a book of business that there's no one that you can't refer. You know the best plumber, you know the best electrician, you know the best moving company, the best painters, the best appraisers, the best, the best bank that gives a loan for a vacant land, not for construction, for hunting, right? Like these are the things that anybody that you can, and then after you have those relationships, you remember what Julie said, give before you take. Be the one in that Facebook group, be like, oh my gosh, I know the best moving company. There are these guys right here. Let me introduce you to them. Right. So I would say implement the never eat alone. And if you can afford lunch, do coffee. It's $5. And then the other one, the greatness tracker inside of our trainings. So I'm going to do a training on never eat alone, and I will include the greatness tracker and explain you guys how to use it, because that will help you to create new habits if you don't have them yet. So in the greatness tracker, we will first of all break down everything that you need to be doing, and the greatness tracker will hold you to it. If you want to start playing with it, you can go into our trackers in the Google Drive and download it. But it takes 90 days to create new habits. And by the 90th day, you will know where your greatness lies. For a while, you're going to do everything. You're going to do the handwritten cards, and you're going to do the open houses, and you're going to do the door knocking and the cold calling, and then you're going to do the face-to-faces, and then you're going to do it all. But after the 90 days, you're going to see where your greatness lies. And there's going to be 2 things that come natural to you, and those are going to be your money makers. So I'm going to do a training on that too. So Julie, I got some great ideas for you.
Oh, good. Yeah, I hope anybody else might have too. I mean, it's kind of, it's refreshing to be at the table with so many amazing people. And I've learned so much just from, I think, our group has too. And, it's we just keep growing. And I feel like we have so much bigger access to a bigger world than we ever had where we were before. And, you know, we have not looked back for 1 second. So.
Oh, I love it. So one more question I have. So besides the 3 habits, what does your daily schedule look like? Are you an early morning riser, go to bed late? Do you read
No.
and spend time?
I get up early. Yeah. And sometimes I'm up in the middle of the night too. And then I'm sort of making notes about things that are in my head, but sometimes that's good. I think they say you wake up, you know, for a reason at night. So it's, I'm an early riser. I send out a lot of emails early, and then
So what is early for you?
probably 5, 6 o'clock. I'm up 5:30 every day.
Wow.
But then I might not be up and moving, but I'm up and I'm looking at the day and what's happening. And then I answer emails and I send them out. And so that way, by the time I'm up and getting dressed and people are starting to get to work and answering. So by the time I'm ready for the day and dressed, ready to go, they're starting to answer and come back, which is great for me. And then it's, you know, whatever is booked for the day is appointments or training or, you know, whatever it might be.
And then what happens? Like, do you do emails first, then calls, then showings, lunch first? Like, what is the?
It just depends on the
When are you
schedule.
done doing things?
Never. Never, which is why I'm getting a VA. But need help. Yeah, I need help. You know, you say automate, eliminate, delegate, and I'm learning that at this age and this stage of my career, and you know, starting to put that into practice. And so it's working. It just takes a little time to get it together. But you know, again, I didn't even know what a VA was before meeting this group. I knew people could hire an assistant, but I didn't know there was a virtual assistant. And so then where do you get one, and how do you know what you need, and how do you pay them? And so anyway, you and I had sort of DM'd and you were like, do this. And so I did. And so here we are. And so again, it's resources and sharing and, you know, collaborating with each other and helping each other build our businesses, because that's what the world is about, is helping each other and giving. And so, you know, there's a book called The Go Giver. And I don't know if anybody ever read that, but it's
I literally just got it as a gift from someone and started reading.
It's a great gift. And
somewhere right behind me over here, because I just brought it down from it. Isn't it a red book?
It's red, yeah.
I just brought it down from Michigan, but right here.
It's just a cute little read, but it's so impactful. There's a series of them, and I took a ninja training, it was called. I don't know if anybody ever took that, but it was actually the best training I've ever taken. And it was just about life and how energy works and how you got to give to get. And if you think about it, that's so true. But it does work in your business as well. So I think it's, you know, it's really not that hard. You give and people will want to give back.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. I have a 2 o'clock, so I have to go.
Thank you so much.
Evelyn asked the question. Log into every single one of you have access to teamgogo.team. Anything you ever need is in there. So log into teamgogo.team, go to the Google Drive, Evelyn, and search for greatness, and you'll find the greatness tracker. Okay. Thank you, everyone. See you next time. Thank you, Julie, so much.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Bye, guys. Thank you. We appreciate you.